Hi, everyone. This is Eric from Aladtec, and I'm one of the system specialists here. And we're going to be going through a little bit of a demo on from the law enforcement agency side of our Aladtec system. As we go through things, we'll kind of take a look at things a little bit more detail, but really it's kind of an overview of the system. If you see some things that are compelling enough to take a deeper look, we definitely encourage you to either sign up for a demo or give one of our sales team a call even today as you look at things this morning. Um, from here, here's a few things we're going to be talking about. We're going to be taking a look at the member database and how that functions in our system, really kind of the brains of the operation. We'll take a look at the schedule views, for instance, looking at how you would schedule, what the schedule would look like, some of the customizations you can do. We'll take a look at the forms tool and take a look at reports, and I'll even show you a little bit of a preview of something that we've been working on for a little while here with our payroll module. We'll take a look at that a little bit deeper. So let's take a look. Right now, we're going to look right at the system. Let me pop over here. Keep in mind a couple of different things. So we are a scheduling company. We are completely cloud-based, nothing to download or install. You just simply pull up the browser of your device, and what that will do is it'll allow you to get to the system. And we'll be looking at things mostly as a top-level administrator, so kind of the administrator of the system itself. We don't have any real requirements. All we do is we do recommend a modern browser. So since it's completely web-based, you'll be able to pull up the system from any internet-connected device. We do recommend a modern browser, for instance, like Firefox, Chrome, Internet Explorer, I think 11 and above, Edge, Safari, anything that'll automatically update itself. Since we're constantly pushing new features and functionality, we want you to have the latest and greatest at that point. Everybody does have their own login and password credentials. They're coming to the home screen. One thing to note here, for the Aladtec system, you do receive free training. So what we typically do is we do a similar webinar type of environment for any of your administrators, maybe supervisors. We can do that as much as we need to, as many times as we need to, just to make sure that everyone's familiar with the system. Also free upgrades, when we push out some new features, which we've been really diligent on trying to work on some new things here, and some really exciting things coming in 2021. Those are added to the system. So it's nothing that you need to download or install. You'll just simply see those new additions to the system or that new functionality. Some you won't see. We've done some things that kind of behind the scenes that'll make things a little bit faster, a little bit smoother, and really to benefit our customer base. Also, our support team is top notch, hands down the number one feature of our company. When you have a question, you don't have to send an email, wait for a couple of weeks for a response. You just simply pick up the phone, call that 888 number, and then you are available, or we're available for you when you have those questions, when you need things answered. So keep those in mind as we take a look at the system. Those things really do set us apart from the others that maybe you've taken a look at out there. We'll take a look at the main components, and then we'll jump back and kind of take a look at some of the additional features. But over on the right-hand side, you'll see this dashboard. This is really to show you some of the most recent information, that maybe things that need your attention. For instance, if there's a trade that is in our system that needs approval, or if there's a sign up, or if there's some time off requests, our system is able to handle all of those. We call those change requests. Really, they are changes to the system. So the system can handle time off, including banks of hours. The system can handle trades, and you can also utilize it for our signups. So think of signups as in the future. You have an opening, whether it be for an overtime shift or something of that nature. You can allow your members to sign up. We also do have extra hours, so think of that as getting held past your normally scheduled shift, or maybe you got called in early to cover. You can submit those extra hours for requests. All of those will come here that need your attention. Also, our member database is very robust. It can keep track of a lot of different information, including contact information, emergency contact information, certifications, licenses, immunizations, anything that you want to assign to a specific individual. This will also alert you if there's anything that's set to an expiration. For instance, driver's license, you can put a driver's license expiration date in there, and this will alert you and the member when those things are expired or expiring soon. We also have an events calendar. Think of this as the non-working calendar, things that you'd be able to add in there, like our webinar today or any types of training. I've seen things like PR events, open houses, nights out, anything that you wanted to add to the schedule. We're hoping we would be that system that you would come for a majority of your information. So everybody be logging into the system to check their schedules, to check to see what's going on. So that one place, especially when it revolves around the personnel. So as we take a look at the system in depth, I'm going to show you first some customization. So those main components, the member database is a great example. So in the member database, you'll have the ability to manage your data. So we also do have the ability to import that information. So if you are interested in looking at kind of taking a deeper look and you'd like to see maybe a custom demo of your own information, the information that's in here is just some generic information to be able to populate the system. But we do offer custom demos where you can take a look at it. You can test drive it to see if it's going to be a good fit for your organization, really put it through its paces to see if it would work out. And then one of the benefits is that that system would actually carry over to a fully paid system and fully supported system when you decide to move forward. So when we take a look at the member database, you'll see a couple of different pieces of information. We do have the ability for the system to send out text and email notifications. So several different things will trigger those notifications, but you can also send out group messages in the system itself. We also have the ability to filter. So if you wanted to filter out, maybe you've got some specialties, maybe you wanted to know, okay, who's part of my canine unit, or who's part of SWAT, or any other type of task force. You can do some filtering, filter that information down to know who's assigned to those specific roles. And then you'll also be able to send out some group messages to those people. One thing I want to reiterate, it is your data. Anytime you need to get that information out, whether it be to populate a state record, whether it be to archive or simply just take that somewhere else, you can get that information out into a CSV or a spreadsheet very quickly and easily. But once again, we can populate this information so you don't have to spend a bunch of time getting that information in there prior to rollout. I did want to mention, part of our process is you were able to take a look at that custom demo I mentioned. And then if you do decide to move forward, we don't just pass along a piece of software and you're on your own to figure it out. We actually walk with you every step of the way of the rollout process. So we would schedule a setup call, make sure everything's fine-tuned prior to rollout. We'd also schedule those training workshops. And then the support team would kick in at that point as you have questions along the way. Our typical rollout for a typical size service is anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. And so we can actually get you rolled out pretty quickly. You don't have to wait for months and months to have the system built out and customized for you. That system is ready to go. So if you're interested, even right now, as we think about it early here in the December, we have people that are coming on board even right now that are going to be rolled out January 1. So that is not unheard of with our company, with our system. So I definitely encourage you, if you're interested in doing that, give us a call and we can get that set up for you. A couple of things from the member database perspective as well. Each person does have their own profile or their own My Info page. We do have the ability to create several different types of access levels. Think of an access level as the ability to do things on the system. So you're giving people permission for those. We can even create some work groups if you have some differences between types of employees. Maybe you've got full-timers and part-timers, or maybe you have some exempt, non-exempt, per diem types of people. You can create some work groups to differentiate some of the working rules in the system. We even have the ability to set up some different types of profiles for our payroll module as well. I mentioned those messaging options. Once people have plugged in that information, they can start receiving those. We do require a primary email address. One of the benefits is that we can kick out a welcome email when you're ready for your members to start logging in at the rollout time. We can kick out a welcome email for everybody, and they can go in and they can set their login and password information pretty quickly and easily. They can even determine how their information is received. So if they want to just receive, a certain number of text messages or text and emails, we even have an upcoming shift reminder, perfect for those that are part-timers that are maybe working just a couple of days a week. And then I want to mention our work qualifications. So we strive to really keep the right people working in the right spots at the right time. We can do that with our work qualifications using our schedules and positions. This also allows us to customize the system to fit your needs. And so we can create as many schedules as we need to, create as many positions as we need to. And so each checkbox is the ability to have people in that position on that schedule. So you can give people those roles in the system itself. I mentioned those time off banks, so we do have the ability to create some accrual profiles that would allow your members to receive a certain number of maybe you receive a certain amount of vacation hours each year, or a certain amount of sick time. That will automatically dump into their banks, and then when they're getting ready to submit a request that time off, they'll be able to see how many hours are in their bank currently, how many hours for this request, how many hours after it's been approved. The admins would be able to see that prior to approval as well. The rest is pretty generalized. As I mentioned, we can customize the database to show you exactly what you wanted to see, so you don't have a bunch of empty fields that don't contain any information. And keep in mind, you can do that as well. So you can go right to that member database configurator to configure the system and the database to show exactly what you wanted to see. So let's take a look at the schedules. Hopefully that's the reason why you're here. You're looking for a scheduling tool. You're looking to manage something that might be overwhelming, or maybe you're looking for a way for your members to be able to interact with that schedule because you're keeping it, maybe just in the office. So as we take a look at the schedule, one thing that you'll really note is we do have multiple ways to see the same information. So it's the same data, but you can see it in multiple fashions. Monthly calendar views probably are most popular for systems of this size. And then you'll also see over on the right-hand side, the ability to customize your view, not only to customize the single view and to turn certain things on and off, but also to see these different ranges of time. So daily summary view is a great view to take a look at when you're looking at kind of thinking of what's the roster look like for today. I want to know, okay, who's working today, what time. This will show that additional information of those change requests here and the events. Or maybe like, for instance, a weekly shifts view. This is a great view to take a look at when you're wanting to see a week at a glance. A great example is if I take a look at the dispatch schedule in this system. I've actually got a minimum staffing set. So we're missing somebody on the dispatch schedule from 1800 to 06 the next day. So you can see that, and it'll pop that notification up when you set those minimums. We have that ability to customize those as well. You can take a look at some of the other views from the daily perspectives, even from the weekly perspectives. And I love to show this one. We do have the monthly roster view. So if you are using spreadsheets now, this is probably the view that you are most familiar with. We have this view, but in my opinion, there are much better views to see the information in a better display option for you. But as we go back to the main view, I want to point out a few things. So on this monthly calendar, you'll see a few things on each day. So for instance, time off, we'll actually pull them off the schedule, and it'll show here in the time off section. Here's how our events would show up. Any signups would show up in a purple. You'll also notice a trade back here on the 4th with Perry and Seth. So it will show you who was originally scheduled. So very easy to see the information. Even when it comes to those minimum staffing, so you can see what's short on those specific schedules. We also do have a coverage alert. So when you do have those those either open shifts or maybe a vacancy, and you need to cover those, we have the ability to send out a coverage alert. You can send it out for the specific position and schedule that you're looking for, and then it will automatically send that text and email out to all those people that are not scheduled. So all those people that are qualified for the dispatch position on the schedule, and then those people that are not scheduled. So you can include those people that are scheduled if you'd like to. You can include those people with approved time off if you'd like to as well. You can even define it on who you want it to send to. So maybe it's a certain, you have some certain rules, what has to go to a certain group of people first. You can determine that as well. We've got two options. If you're looking for some last minute coverage, just depending on your rules, you can send it out simultaneously or all at once. It'll send out that text and email and bringing people back to the system to use the signups feature. Or we can even send it in a staggered manner where you'd be able to determine, okay, I want it to send out to people in the system based on seniority first. Maybe you have a wheel or a rotational overtime list. We can add that into the system in those rules very quickly and easily. And once again, it's bringing people back to the system to use that signups feature. And then you'll also notice from the scheduling view, here's how those signups would show up. So in this case, we've got 3 people that have signed up for that. You can determine who's awarded that. You can click on it from here, or you can take a look at a different way when I'll show you in a few moments here. But this will show you all the details you can approve. One of the benefits of the signups is once you approve the person that's going to be taking that spot, they will get a notification via text or email or both. And then the others will also get a notification saying that the shift has already been filled. So there is some communication tools that are going back and forth with some of these change requests. So, but once again, very easy to navigate. One other view, work schedule view I wanted to show you is from really where the members would be able to interact. The members would interact with their My Schedule page. So it shows you a monthly format of their own schedule. This is where they can actually click on a scheduled shift and initiate a time off request or initiate a trade request. Keep in mind either one of these change requests can be turned off, and even one of them can be set to automatic approval if you wanted kind of some streamlining of things. They'd also be able to hover on certain things and even submit some extra hours, add events here, even see any of the open shifts. If they want to see, okay, where's my vacancies, where have we dropped below minimum, this is where they'd be able to sign up for those. We even have the ability to sync this up with your home calendar or Google Calendar or iCal, what have you. It will sync automatically, so you don't have to push it. It'll automatically sync up. So if you wanted to have that sync up with your home calendar to know when you're working, when you have some time off in the future, maybe some vacation time, you can have that sync up very quickly and easily. I wanted to quickly show you what it would look like from a member's perspective, because that's always the question. How user-friendly is our system? From a member's perspective, it's very easy to see. Over on the dashboard, they'll see any upcoming shifts that they have, any events that are pertaining to them. I believe it shows you the next 5 events that are happening, any available trades on the trades board. And then by default, the members don't have access to the entire member database. They can just see their My Info page, so just their own information. And then when they click on schedules, they're able to see the default work schedule view and then their own name highlighted. So very easy for them to navigate the system. We are also very mobile friendly, so very easy to pull up the system. There's nothing to download or install, so you're not keeping any data on your phone. You're just accessing the system. And you don't have to keep things updated. So automatically updating or, updating the app. It's just simply a mobile web app. So all you have to do is to pull up the browser, whether it be an Android or iOS device, and it will format automatically to that size of screen. So in this case, if this was maybe a tablet look, Frankie can see any upcoming shifts, trades, open shifts, events, and time off. And then Frankie can interact with the system by taking a look at, for instance, the daily summary view, where people are scheduled, and then also going to the mobile My Schedule page. So this is where they'd be able to interact with the system, clicking on a scheduled shift and initiating that time off request and initiating that trade request. So very easy to navigate the system, even via mobile. I did want to encourage you that's something that we really strive for. We know that that's the here and now, and that's the future, by being able to pull up that information very quickly and easily on your mobile device. So back administratively, I did want to mention too, if we do have Dave, our moderator here, so if you do have any questions, definitely pop those into our question box, and we'll save some time at the end if you do have some questions, maybe answer some of those. So along the way, also if you maybe think of a question even after this webinar, don't hesitate to reach out to us, either our support team or one of our sales staff as well. So these tools are available for administrators. So when it gets into the nuts and bolts of, okay, how do we schedule? This is where you'd be able to go into. The first one I wanted to show you is our repeats and rotations. Think of this as the permanent schedule. So if you have people that are on any particular type of pattern or rotation, all you have to do is to set that pattern. For instance, maybe you have a 2-week pattern where you're working every other weekend. So this week they're working Wednesday, Thursday. Next week they're working Monday, Tuesday, and then a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you can set up that pattern, and that will cycle through that pattern, and we'll be able to schedule people all the way out till December 31st, 2022 in this case, so up to 2 years out on those specific patterns. If there's a change to their schedules, or maybe you have some shift bidding that goes on, it's very easy to modify those rotations, modify those patterns, and then start them on a new pattern. So very pattern based. For instance, if you have even some admin staff that are working Monday through Friday, you can easily schedule them as well. Or maybe you have even some part-timers. Maybe they're only working on Wednesdays and Fridays. So this is the ability to set their permanent rotations or permanent patterns in the system and allow them to be able to check their schedules and then be able to access the system itself. So repeats and rotations, that pattern-based scheduling. And then the hourly editor is really where you can manage the day-to-day. So this is exactly where you'd be able to see all of your schedules on a daily basis and be able to adjust them or really administrate them. So what you're able to do is to see the schedules, see who's scheduled in those spots. And for instance, if Seth here if he's not feeling well, maybe he's going to be going home early. In this system, it's 11:23, so maybe we're gonna you can either have Seth submit the time off or request the time off, or you as administrator can also go in and you can put Seth off. Let's say he's going to be leaving here at 11:30. So very easy to put them off for the remainder of their shifts. Can be sick leave. These time off types are customizable, and they also can have an accrual bank associated with them. So keep that in mind as we navigate things. You can label it exactly what you call it. And then once you put those people off, it'll just, in this case, it's approving the time off since you're an administrator. So Seth has gone home. That spot, if you need to staff it, you have that open spot now. You can also do some dragging and dropping, and you can cover that spot up if you don't want that to have an open shift. So very easy to manage the schedules. You can also do some dragging and dropping. So for instance, if you want to drag and drop people from one position to the other, let's say that's a part of maybe acting up in some capacity or acting into an OIC type of capacity. Maybe the lieutenant can be moved into a different spot. So I can drop Seth even into a different spot. Notice it is going to be looking at those qualifications. So it's not going to allow you to drag and drop someone that is not qualified for those positions. But I can just do some dragging and dropping from one position to the other, or even one schedule to the other. So for instance, if you wanted to move somebody onto a training schedule for the day, maybe they're going to be in school, or maybe they're going to be just out, or maybe someone's going to be in court for the day. You can actually move them onto even a court schedule. So very easy to manage the day-to-day information. You can even pull the information down below from our availability. So we do have the ability for members to submit availability, and then you can schedule them from there. So for instance, Ron has submitted availability. He's wanting to work. He's got some time, so you can actually just drag and drop Ron into that spot onto the schedule. So you can even drag and drop from the bottom section as well. So very easy to even open up that spot. And we're going to just drag Ron right into that specific spot. And now Ron's scheduled to work. So very easy to manage the schedules on the day-to-day. I can take a look at any day in the future and manage those schedules from there. One of the things I did want to reiterate, we do cover our repeats and rotations and our hourly editor during our training workshop. So you don't expect you to remember everything now. If it's compelling enough, you want to take a look at the custom demo, you can play around with it. Or you want to sign up even for a generic demo, you can even today. But we do offer that training workshop for those people, and we really teach you how to use this system from start to finish. One of the things that's big for us is transparency. So we know there's a lot of moving parts in the system. So we have two areas that I want to focus on now. One area is our change request log. So every log or every change request is logged, and you'll have a date and time stamp of when those actions were initiated, when those actions were approved or denied or canceled. So you've got a great audit trail to know, okay, who did what. Maybe you're sitting there and you're, you have some people that you manage, and they are the supervisors, and you want to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Your ability to be able to track all of the change requests and all of the approval steps right here is a fantastic option. So you'll know exactly who did what when it comes to approving those change requests. And then along the same vein, our system log is hands down our number one feature in our system. Every action is logged, so you know exactly who did what. If I get into a date here that we've got in the future, even today, we'll take a look at maybe the entire month or the rest of the month. This will show you every action. So you've got a great audit trail. In the event someone comes to you with a question, you can track it down to the action taken by, who was affected, even usage. So a great audit trail in the event you have maybe a grievance or a concern, but also if maybe you got called into a meeting and you were working on the schedule and managing the schedule, and you can see, okay, what was I doing last? You can go back and see that information from the system log. And then as we take a look at the reports, keep in mind everything really does revolve around the schedule. So any changes that happen to the schedule will then be filtered out into the reports. The scheduled time report's a great report when you're looking for start and stop times. Maybe you're looking for the schedules and positions. All of our reports can be customized to show you exactly what you want to see. They can also be printed and or exported out into a CSV or a spreadsheet. So if you did want to use things for payroll, you can export that information out into a spreadsheet, do any additional calculations. A lot of our customers are actually taking that information and importing it into their payroll software. So we do have that ability to get that information out. But once again, this will show you start and stop times. You can even pull in some member database information. You can really see all the information and break it down. Maybe it's breaking it down by weekends, weekdays, holidays, even have an overtime threshold that'll show you, okay, maybe you FLSA and anything past 40 hours in a week will dump into an overtime category. You can have the system do that and run that information in the background. If you're just looking at the numbers, you want to see the numbers, the summary report's going to strictly show you that. I believe that this is a really good report when it comes to running a report for a longer range of time than just a pay period. You can use it. Once again, it is printable and exportable. But if it's getting to that time and you need to prepare for maybe the annual meeting or being able to present to a board or the city council, and you need to have substantiate some claims for some additional staffing, you can run this report for a custom range for an entire year. And maybe you wanted to see, okay, how much sick time have we paid out since January 1, 2020, or how much different types of sick time do we have? Maybe you wanted to run some COVID numbers. Very easy to manage the summary reports and to get that information into a readable format that you can use to substantiate any new hires or needing of staff, or just being able to track the entire year's worth of numbers. So great report for that. And I wanted to just quickly just show you, kind of give you a little glance at some of the things we're doing as far as our new payroll report. So it does have that beta tag, but that'll be dropped once we continue to add some additional payrolls into the system. The biggest difference from this payroll report is you can still print it and export it out, but you can customize it to fit your payroll needs. Maybe you have a certain type of vendor that you use, and you need these certain columns to be addressed and to be able to pull out into that export. So you can do that from here very quickly and easily. You can also format the payroll report to just showing you some specific things. Maybe you don't want the payroll report to show you certain types of time. Or maybe you wanted to set that overtime threshold and you have different groups of people that have different rules for that. You can utilize our payroll report. And there will be some additional rules that are going to be added here very shortly. And I do want to encourage you, take a look at signing up even for that demo, because this payroll report is going to be available for you to test drive. And at this point, you can test drive it and see if it's going to be a good fit for you. I did have a question on the payroll report I wanted to kind of address. You can run specific dates. There's nothing that's going to be automated. It is still going to need that attention to specifically export that information out. But that's definitely one thing that I'll add to the wish list. We know that there's going to be some additional needs for this. I do also believe that the integrations, we're going to be adding in some direct integrations to some of our payroll vendors, and there will be some additional options for that. So Alex, thank you for that question. And definitely, as I mentioned, you have a window of time where you can take a look at this payroll report. If you wanted to sign up for that demo to take a look at it, see if it's going to be something that would be a good fit. Maybe you've looked at us in the past, and maybe you need some additional options for those payroll options in our system. So take a look at that. So we've got a lot of settings that you can set for that. Included in our system, you have 200 gigabytes worth of storage. So a great place for things like SOPs, SOGs, contracts. I've seen people put some personnel files, folders, training videos, training links, training materials. Very easy to access the system because we're cloud-based. Everybody can access it from anywhere that they need to. So a great tool, great resource if you are typically using server-based types of platforms at your department. Since we're completely cloud-based, you can access it from anywhere. You can add that information in there when you need. Wanted to also mention our forms tool, a great addition to our system. It is included, even unlimited the number of forms that you create, unlimited the number of forms you submit. We have services across the country that have gone completely paperless with our forms tool. Even we have one of our customers that added in a screening form, COVID-19 screening form. So think of the forms tool as an electronic form, so members can go in, they can choose the information that they need to fill out that form, check any of the check boxes, add any information that they need. We even have a signature box. And once they submit this, you can set this to have a notification get sent to specific individuals or groups of people. And then that will dump into a report that you can do some additional tracking. You can do some filtering options. You can run reports for different lengths of time. So very easy to utilize our forms tool. We do have several samples. So if you do decide you wanted to take a look at our system a little bit deeper, sign up for that generic demo. You can also take a look at some of the samples we have in here. But if you're using something now, maybe you're paying for it, maybe it's not meeting your needs, definitely take a look at bringing everything into kind of one umbrella of being able to use one system for a lot of those moving parts in your department. I wanted to mention one other thing. Hands down, I mentioned earlier, our support team is fantastic. So anytime you have any questions during even during your trial, or maybe you wanted to even sign up for that demo today, or you wanted to talk to someone, feel free to call that 888 number. Talk to one of our support team members. You can always shoot us an email at our support team when you're a customer if you've got a question. Our business hours, support hours are Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. We even have an emergency line. So in the event it's in the middle of the night and something went haywire, and you needed some help, you can call that number. One of our support team members is on call. We even have a chat. We've got a little hat for the holiday season here in our chat. So if you wanted to just chat with one of our support team members, you can as well. So a great tool. I wanted to reiterate, if you're interested in looking deeper, don't hesitate to reach out to us even today. We can get you set up with either that custom demo with your own people and schedules plugged in, or if you're not quite there yet, you can even sign up for that generic demo from our website. Just go to aladtec.com and you'll be able to see and be able to sign up for that. Last thing I wanted to mention is I really appreciate joining us today. If you do have any questions about anything that you've seen today, or maybe you wanted to talk to one of our team members, that you have some questions maybe going through, maybe you've jotted some questions down, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. And also we've got some upcoming webinars, so I wanted to plug those. Be on the lookout for any of the webinars that are coming up. Thank you for your time. Have a great holiday season, and we appreciate you from all of us here at Aladtec.